Hey everyone, I hope you guys had a great weekend and so far a good week. Last week we left off with adding and subtracting fractions with common denominators. So that is where I want to start today, is going over how we add fractions and then subtract fractions when they have the same denominator. And then we're going to move into looking at least common multiples and greatest common factors. So last week we said that when you're adding two fractions, they have to have the same denominator. So all of these examples I'm going to show you do have the same denominator. And when we're adding, we keep the denominator and all we change is the numerator. That's what we're going to be adding together. So in this example, we have 1 out of these 6 pieces shaded in and 2 out of these 6 pieces shaded in. So when we add them together, our answer still has 6 pieces, so we keep the 6 as the denominator, but then we add the 1 from the first one and the 2 from the second one, which gives us 3 shaded pieces. So our numerator is going to be 3. Then we're going to simplify this fraction because 3 goes into both 3 and 6. So 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 6 two times. So our final answer is going to be 1/2 because we've shaded in half of this circle. Looking at our next example, our circle has 4 parts, so our denominator is 4. And we have 1 shaded in on our first one and 1 shaded in on our second one. So when we add our 1 and 1 together, we end up with 2. Same as with the first one, we need to look and make sure that it's in simplest terms. And 2 goes into both 2 and 4. So 2 goes into 2 one time, and 2 goes into 4 two times. So we have 1/2 as our final answer. So as you can see, half of our circle is shaded in. Down here in this one, we see that our circle is split into 12 parts. Our second circle is split into 12 parts, which means our answer is going to be split into 12 parts. So our denominator is 12. We have 4 shaded in from the first one, and 6 shaded in from the second one, so 6 and 4 gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shaded pieces. But 10 over 12 isn't in simplest form, so we need to look, and we know that 2 goes into both 10 and 12. So 2 goes into 10 5 times, and 2 goes into 12 6 times. So our answer is 5/6. Our next one, our circle is shaded into 10 pieces. So our denominator is going to be 10. We have 1 shaded in from our first problem, 1 from the second. So our answer is going to be 2/10. Again, it's not in simplest terms. 2 goes into both 2 and 10. 2 goes into 2 1 time, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. Down here in our last one, our circle is broken up into 10 pieces, so our denominator is going to be 10. We have 2 shaded in from the first one, and 6 shaded in from the second one. So altogether we have 8 shaded pieces. 8/10 is not in simplest terms. 2 goes into both 8 and 10. 2 goes into 8 4 times. And 2 goes into 10 5 times. So our answer to this one is 4/5. Moving on to subtraction. We have the same denominators, same as addition. Your denominators need to match. So our circles are all in 12 pieces. So our denominator is going to be 12. And we started with 6, we're going to take away 5. So if we start with 6 and we take away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, from our original number, we're left with 1 yellow piece. So we're going to shade in our 1 yellow piece over here. And our answer is going to be 1/12. On the second one, we're going to start with 7 orange pieces shaded in out of our whole 11. And we're going to take away 2 of those orange pieces. Our whole is still going to stay as 11 pieces. But if we have 7 and we take away 1, 2, we're left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to shade five pieces in on our answer. And our answer is going to be 5/11. Our next one, we have our whole is 10. So that's what our denominator is. So our denominator for our answer is going to be 10 as well. We have 7 green pieces shaded in, and we're going to take away 3 of those green pieces. So if we start with our 7 and we take away 1, 2, 3, we're left with 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 out of our original 7 pieces shaded in. 4/10 is not in simplest terms, 2 goes into both 4 and 10. 2 goes into 4 2 times. And 2 goes into 10 5 times. So our answer is 2 over 5. On our next one, our whole is 12 pieces. So our denominator is going to stay as 12. And we started with 11 pieces shaded in, and we're going to take away 5 of those shaded pieces. So we take away 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. We're left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces shaded in. Six over 12 is not in simplest terms. 6 goes into both 6 and 12. 6 goes into 6 one time. 6 goes into 12 two times. So our answer is going to be 1/2. As you can see here, we have the top half of our circle shaded in. Our last one, our whole circle is 6 pieces. So our denominator is going to be 6. We started with 3 shaded pieces. We're going to take away 1 shaded piece, which leaves us with 2 shaded pieces. Two over 6 is not in simplest terms. 2 goes into both 2 and 6 equally. So 2 goes into 2 one time, and 2 goes into 6 3 times. So our answer is 1 over 3. Okay. So that is addition and subtraction with common denominators. So now we're going to look at least common multiples and greatest common factors, so we can learn how to add and subtract fractions that do not have the same denominator. So the least common multiple is the smallest number that 2 or more numbers will divide into evenly. It's the smallest non-zero multiple between 2 or more numbers. So we can find it out through multiplication, prime factorization, or using greatest common factors of the numbers. So when we use multiplication, we start with our numbers and we do multiples of them. So if our number was 24, 24 times 1 is 24. 24 times 2 is 48. 24 times 3 is 72. 24 times 4 is 96. 24 times 5 is 108. 24 times 6 is 132. Our other number is 18. So 18 times 1 is 18. 18 times 2 is 36. 18 times 3 is 54. 18 times 4 is 72. 18 times 5 is 90. And 18 times 6 is 108. So the smallest number that they both have in common is 72. So the least common multiple of 24 and 18 is 72. You can also use prime factorization to find the least common multiple. So to do that, you would multiply the numbers until you get a prime number, and then you multiply them together. For greatest common factor, you'll list all the factors of the number, which are all the numbers that can be divided into it evenly. And the biggest number that appears on both lists is the greatest common factor. So if we look at 24, 1 times 24 is 24, 2 times 12 is 24, 3 times 8 is 24, and 4 times 6 is 24. So those are all the factors of 24. For 18, 1 times 18 is 18, 2 times 9 is 18, and 3 times 6 is 18. So these are all of the factors for 18. So when we look at both of these lists, we see that 6 is the biggest number that goes into both of them. So the greatest common factor is 6. Okay. So here I have some examples for us to do of the greatest common factor. So starting with number 6, we have 8 and 10. And to help us, I have a multiplication chart. So we have the 8 times table, and the 10 times table. So we have 8, the 8 times table, and the 10 times table. Okay, so when we're looking for the biggest number that goes into both of them. So 8 and 10, 16 doesn't go into 10, 24 doesn't go into 10, 32 doesn't go into 10, but 40 goes into 10. 40 goes into both 8 and 10. So that would be the least common multiple between 8 and 10. Next we have 4 and 20. Looks like my computer is frozen. There it goes. Alright, I am going to restart my computer because I don't know why it keeps freezing. So I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. If you need me, you can reach me through email or Google Hangouts. And if not, I will see you all next week.